indicated who was responsible for the outbreak of violence.
Well, the Prime Minister wasn't here to start with, so therefore he's not an eyewitness. There will be a dispute as to exactly who was responsible for this. You can see in this very tight spot where we are, where you have a lot of people and a lot of police officers, there was almost a certain inevitability about the situation. But the bottom line is that it ended up unpleasant. A lot of punches were thrown, and it wasn't a pleasant scene at the end of the day.
Tonight, Mr.
Bhína léirseóirí bhuailge hin féin a bharmhór, crunne le chéile os cóir irspalan an túr I lár chahar gcuide, áitir a cunne le John Major. Na héile bhíacha bhí siar na brísan na poblachtach, takeíocht go bhfuilfan na líine a Maria go nuire dónach na fola 1962, agus gearán faoi leidú heirihí sláinte. Passan clúchas nuair rinne an RUC íireacht an lucht agóide a ruige. Gorty Greens go bhfuil an RUC agus na léirseóirí a rá Mary Nellis cóileor go chuid Sinn Féin. Dil John Major níos deirní leis an múséum a Eiceáil agus chuir sé lucht Sinn Féin faoi léirseoin Tróna. Thug sé dúshlán ceannarí Sinn Féin foréigean an leiniú a cháine. Níos luaithe bhfuil príomhhar in na Bretaine le ceannarí na bríomh aglaisí ag Ashland Hillsborough. Dúirt an dochtú Robin Eames gur léire John Major a bh cántacht agus a ionrachas agus éman cainteló. Bhfuil an túsal Major le ceannarí Carl Cumann agus le Loch Gno freisin. A láirtó le mer an lei, go Major go gcuireadh hála in nuire isteach na caintine idir Aristáit na Breton a Michael Ancram agus Sinn Féin de céading se thugaí.
The trouble began after more than 100 Republican protesters tried to block the Tower Museum entrance before Mr. Major's visit there. When police tried to move them, scuffles broke out. Sinn Féin's Mitchell McLaughlin was to have met Mr. Major. Both were expected to shake hands. At one stage, the Prime Minister's safety couldn't be guaranteed. However, when calm was restored, Mr. Major insisted.
What did happen this afternoon? It certainly began peacefully enough. Everyone was relatively good-humoured, but when the RUC tried to push people back a little, they met resistance. The demonstrators sat down and refused to move, and the temperature began very gradually to rise. When Gregory Campbell, a local DUP councillor, arrived, he was jostled and heckled. Mr. Major came.
He was happily meeting church leaders in Belfast. In the nationalist stronghold of Derry, Northern Ireland was seeing its worst violence since the IRA ceasefire began 8 months ago. Republican protesters clashed with the RUC. 12 police officers were hurt.
I don't believe that a demonstration by thugs should stop the British Prime Minister honouring a visit that he promised to make to have a look at what was done in this city during the war to make sure that people had the freedom to live in the way we do these days. I think it was an important point of principle to come back and look at this exhibition.
So what actually happened? Republicans campaigning for the RUC to be disbanded gathered in the extremely narrow alleyway leading to the Tower Museum, where Mr. Major was due to visit a VE Day exhibition. Predictably enough, police attempts to move them along failed.
You know that we're not going to move, and we know that you're not going to move, so just calm yourself down and relax.
We thought we would give you the option.
Well, we gave you the option as well. We have a right to be here. This is our city.
These were no maverick hotheads. The Sinn Féin chairman, Mitchell McLaughlin, due to meet Mr. Major, was instructing protesters to stage a sit-down protest.
Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
Shortly before Mr. Major was due to arrive, the police decided to clear the alleyway. As police and demonstrators struggled outside the museum, round the corner in a nearby square, Republicans showed delight at a much uglier incident. Nationalists are concerned that Sinn Féin is still pursuing twin tactics, a milder version of the abandoned bullet and ballot box.
I think it was...
John Major has said he wants Sinn Féin to denounce the violence before he decides about the talks. 12 police officers and a Sinn Féin councillor were injured in the fighting.
After yesterday's violence in the centre of Londonderry, the business of apportioning blame has begun in earnest. Sinn Féin pointed the finger at the police, claiming they'd mishandled the situation. But last night, the RUC's local divisional commander accused Republicans of orchestrating the disturbances.
There was a vicious attempt to attack the police. Now, that attack took place on the police prior to the arrival of the Prime Minister at the venue. It was directed at us.
Apart from who is to blame, the other question arising from the clashes is whether next week's scheduled meeting between a government minister and Sinn Féin can now go ahead. Gerry Adams expected to hold a news conference at Westminster later today. It's unlikely he'll do what the Prime Minister wants and apologise on behalf of Sinn Féin for yesterday's violence. Gerry Adams expected to hold a news conference at Westminster later today. It's unlikely he'll do what the Prime Minister wants and apologise on behalf of Sinn Féin for yesterday's violence. Mark Devon.